Hi everyone, in this tutorial we will cover AWS Identity and Access Management, that is AWS IAM. The agenda of this tutorial is overview of AWS IAM, introduction to AWS IAM, what is IAM, security features outside of IAM, permission and policies, create an IAM admin user and group, IAM console and sign-in page, users, groups, roles, and last topic is best practices and use cases. Now let's talk about what is IAM. AWS Identity and Access Management is a web service for securely controlling access to AWS services. With IAM, you can centrally manage users, security credentials such as access keys, and permission that control which AWS resources users and application can access. You can use IAM to control who can use your AWS resources, that is authentication, and how they can use resources, that is authorization. So this is the definition of Identity and Access Management, that is IAM. Now let's talk about AWS IAM features. First is shared access to your AWS account. You can grant other people permission to administrator and use resource in your AWS account without having to share a password or access key. Second feature is granular permission. You can grant different permission to different people for different resources. For example, you might allow some user complete access to Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, that is EC2, Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon DynamoDB, Amazon Redshift, and other AWS services. For other users, you can allow read-only access to just some S3 buckets, or permission to administrator just some EC2 instance, or to access your billing information, but nothing else. Third feature is secure access to AWS resource for applications that run on Amazon EC2. You can use IAM features to securely give applications that run on EC2 instance the credentials that they need in order to access other AWS resources like S3 buckets and RDS or DynamoDB database. Fourth feature is multiple factor authentication, that is MFA. You can add two-factor authentication to your account and to individual users for extra security. With MFA, you or your users must provide not only a password or access key to work with your account, but also a code from a special configured device. Fifth feature is Identity Federation. You can allow users who already have a password elsewhere, for example in your corporate network or with an internet identity provider, to get temporary access to your AWS account. Sixth feature is Identity Information for Assurance. If you use AWS CloudTrail, you receive log records that include information about those who made requests for resource in your account. That information is based on IAM identities. Seventh feature is eventually consistent. IAM, like many other AWS services, is eventually consistent. IAM achieves high availability by replicating data across multiple servers within Amazon data centers around the world. If a request to change some data is successful, the change is committed and safely stored. However, the change must be replicated across IAM, which can take some time. Such changes include creating or updating users, group, roles, or policies. AWS recommends that you do not include such IAM changes in the critical, high availability code paths of your application. Instead, make IAM changes in a separate initialization or setup routine that you run less frequently. And last feature is free to use. AWS Identity and Access Management is a feature of your AWS account offered at no additional charge. You will be charged only for the use of other AWS products by your AWS users. AWS Security Token Service is an included feature of your AWS account offered at no additional charge. You are charged only for the use of AWS services that are accessed by your AWS STS temporary security credentials. So these all are the features of AWS IAM. Now let's talk about how to access AWS IAM. First is AWS Management Console. The console is a browser-based interface to manage IAM and AWS resources. Second is AWS Command Line Tools. You can use AWS Command Line Tools to issue commands at your system's command line to perform IAM and AWS tasks. This can be faster and more convenient than using the console. The command line tools are also useful if you want to build scripts that perform AWS tasks. AWS provides two sets of command line tools: AWS Command Line Interface, that is AWS CLI, and AWS Tools for Windows PowerShell. Third way to access IAM is AWS SDK. AWS provides SDK, that is software development kits, that consist of libraries and sample code for various programming languages and platforms like Java, Python, Ruby, .NET, iOS, Android, etc. The SDKs provide a convenient way to create programmatic access to IAM and AWS. For example, SDK take care of tasks such as cryptographically signing requests, managing errors, and retrying requests automatically. And last way to access IAM is IAM HTTPS API. You can access IAM and AWS programmatically by using the IAM HTTPS API, which lets you issue HTTPS requests directly to the service. When you use the HTTPS API, you must include code to digitally sign requests using your credentials. So these are the different ways to access the IAM, like Management Console, second is CLI, third is SDK, and last is IAM HTTPS API. Now let's talk about overview of identity management. For greater security and organization, you can give access to your AWS account to specific user identities that you create with custom permissions. You can further simplify access for those users by federating existing identities into AWS. So here the topics are: first is first time access only, that is your root user credential. Second is IAM user, and third is federating existing user. So let's move to the first topic. First time access only, your root user credential. When you create an AWS account, you create an AWS account root user identity which you use to sign into the AWS. You can sign into the AWS Management Console using this root user identity, that is the mail address and the password that you provided when creating the account. This combination of your mail address and password is also called as root user credentials. When you use your root user credentials, you have complete unrestricted access to all resources in your AWS account, including access to the billing information and the ability to change your password. This level of access is necessary when you first set up your account. However, AWS recommends that you don't use root user credentials for everyday access. AWS specially recommends that you do not share your root user credentials with anyone, because doing so gives them unrestricted access to your account. It is not possible to restrict the permission that are granted to the root user. Now let's talk about IAM user. The identity aspect of AWS Identity and Access Management, that is IAM, helps you with the question, who is that user? Often referred to as authentication. Instead of sharing your root user credentials with others, you can create individual IAM user within your account that corresponds to user in your organization. IAM users are not separate accounts, they are users within your account. Each user can have its own password for access to the AWS Management Console. You can also create an individual access key for each user so that the user can make programmatic requests to work with resource in your account. Now let's talk about federating existing users. If your users already have a way to be authenticated, for example, by signing in to your corporate network, you can federate those users' identities into AWS. A user who has already logged in replace his or her existing identity with a temporary identity in your AWS account. This user can work in AWS Management Console. Similarly, an application that the user is working with can make programmatic requests using permission that you define. So federation is particularly useful in below cases. First is your user already have identities in a corporate directory, and second is your user already have internet identities. So this is the overview of identity management. Now let's talk about overview of access management, that is permission and policies. The access management portion of AWS Identity and Access Management, that is IAM, helps you to define what a user or other identity is allowed to do in an account, often referred to as authorization. Permission are granted through policies that are created and then attached to a user, groups, or roles. Now let's talk about policies and users. By default, IAM users cannot access anything in your account. You grant a permission to a user by creating a policy, which is a document that defines the effect, actions, resources, and optional condition. So here you can see that the JSON document for which we have an effect, that is allow, and action is DynamoDB:*, and resource is ARN of the DynamoDB, which is created in US-East-2 region, and this is the account ID, that is account number, and the table name is books. When you attach the policy to a user, group, or role, then the IAM identity has those DynamoDB permissions. Typically, users in your account have multiple policies that together represent the permission for that user. Any action or resources that are not explicitly allowed are denied by default. For example, if you see the above policy, this is the only policy attached to a user. Then that user is allowed to perform the DynamoDB actions on the books table only. Action on all the other tables are prohibited. Similarly, the user is not allowed to perform any action in Amazon EC2, Amazon S3, or in any other services, because permission to work with those services are not included in this policy. So we'll see this practically in next sessions. Now let's talk about policy and groups. You can organize IAM users into IAM groups and attach a policy to a group. In that case, individual users still have their own credentials, but all the users in a group have permission that are attached to the group. So in this figure you can see that this is the account. So this person who created the account has a root credentials, and he created 3 different groups in the account. And you can see the first group, that is admin, which has 2 users, for example Bob and Susan. So they have their own credentials. And for group developers, we have 3 different users, Nat, Brad, and DevApp1, which has their own credentials. And similar to the group test, we have 2 users, Kathy and Ellen, and both the users have their own credential. Now let's talk about user-based and resource-based policies. In some cases, you can attach a policy to a resource in addition to attaching it to a user or group. For example, in Amazon S3, you can attach a policy to a bucket. A resource-based policy contains slightly different information than the user-based policy. In a resource-based policy, you specify what action are permitted and what resource is affected. However, you also explicitly list who is allowed access to the resource. So here you can see that we have an effect, that is allow, and principal, which is the ARN of the user, Bob. And we have an action like put object and put object ACL. For the resource, that is the S3 bucket ARN. So we can see this practically on AWS Management Console. So let's go to the AWS Management Console, and here you can see that AWS has different services. So in the storage section you can see that S3. So open the S3. So before that I will show you the user which is created in this account. So go to the IAM, that is Identity and Access Management, and click on Users. Here I have created one user. The user name is Bob. So here you can see that the Bob user which is created. So click on that user. So here you can see that the ARN of that user. Now let's go to the bucket. For the demonstration purpose of user-based and resource-based policy, I already have a sample bucket which I have created. So click on that bucket. So click on permission and click on bucket policy. So here you can see that this is the policy which I had given for the user Bob. So only he can access this bucket with certain actions like get object and put object. So he only can access this bucket. So this is the concept of user-based and resource-based policy. Now let's talk about quick links to common tasks. So here the contents are: sign in as a IAM user, manage password for IAM user, manage permission for IAM users, list the users in your AWS account and get the information about their credentials, and last is get access key. So in this topic we will see how to sign in using IAM user. So let's go to the notepad and copy the link. So this link will be used to open the management console. Paste the link on the browser and press enter. So this is the sign in page to go to the AWS Management Console. So here you have to give the account ID or alias, and here you have to give the username, and here you have to give the password, and after that you have to click on sign in. Now here you can see that the IAM user. So here you can see that this is the username. So whatever permissions are there for this username, so he can access that resources. So let's go to the IAM service. So here you can see that different section of AWS services. So in the security section you can see that IAM. So open the IAM console. So here you can see that different section in the left hand side like groups, user, roles, policies. So let's click on user. Now I can find the username which is created for me. So here you can see that this is the username. Click on that. And here you can see that the policy which is attached for this username. So this is the administrator access policy. So click on that, expand the policy and click on JSON. So here you can see that this is the policy statement for the user. For example, which action and which resource. So for this username, we have a star action for star resource. So this username can access all the resources in the AWS console. Now let's click on security credentials. So here you can see that the sign-in credentials, like this is the console login link. By this link, the user can able to log in. And here it is showing assign MFA device, so that is no. So you can edit by clicking on this edit option. And here you can see that the access keys. So for this username, we have two access key IDs, and you can see the status here as active. Suppose you want to reset the password, you can click on reset password. Now let's go back. And here you can see that the list of the users which are created in this account. And for all the users, you can see the access key age here. You can see the password age. You can check the last activity. And you can check the MFA code is enabled or not. So like that, you can create a user, you can create a roles, you can create a policies, and you can attach the policy to the users. So whatever permissions are there in that policy, the user can access that number of resources. Now let's talk about getting started to AWS IAM. This topic shows you how to give access to your AWS resources by creating AWS Identity and Access Management user under your AWS accounts. First, you will learn about IAM concepts you should understand before you create groups and users. And then you will walk through how to perform the necessary task using AWS Management Console. The first task is to set up an administrator group for your AWS account. So here the tasks are: first is create an administrator group and give the group permission to access all of your AWS accounts resources. Second is create a user for yourself and add that user to the administrator group. And third is create a password for your user so you can sign in to the AWS Management Console. So let's see all the tasks practically on AWS Management Console. So here you can see that the AWS services are divided into different categories. So in the security, identity and compliance section, you can see that IAM service. So click on IAM. So here you can see that this is the management console of IAM service. Here you can see that number of users which are created in your account. Number of groups you can see here. You can see the roles, you can see the identity providers. You can see the customer managed policies. Now click on groups. So here you can see that number of groups are already created in this account. Now how to create a group? So click on create new group. Now step number 1 is set group name. So you have to specify a group name. So I am giving the group name as sample session group. After that, click on next step. Now step number 2 is attach policy. So select one or more policy to attach. So right now I am selecting the administrator access and click on next step. Step number 3, review. So you can review the following information and click on create group. Now we will search here the group name which we created. So here you can see that the group which is successfully created, and here users are 0. Now we will create a user. So click on user. So here you can see that the list of users are already created in this account. So we will create a user. So click on add user. Now set the user details. So give the username. I am giving sample session user. If you want to add another user, you can add another user also by clicking on this option. So right now I am creating only one user. After that, select AWS access type. So select how these users will access AWS. So you can select the access type, either programmatical access or AWS Management Console. So programmatical access means which enables an access key ID and secret access key for the AWS API, CLI, SDKs and other development tools. And AWS Management Console which enables a password that allows users to sign into the AWS Management Console. So here I am selecting both the access type. Now you have to give the password. So you can select auto-generated password or custom password. So I am selecting custom password. So here you can give the password. So I am giving the password as session123 and click on next permission. Now set permission for sample session user. So you can add that user to the group. You can copy the permission from existing user or you can attach the existing policy. So I am selecting the attach existing policy. So here I am giving only Amazon S3 full access. Select the policy and click on next review. After you create the user, you can view and download the auto-generated password and access key. So after reviewing the details, click on create user. So here you can see that the user is created successfully. So you can download the credential by clicking on download.csv file. So here you can see that the credentials are downloaded successfully. And you can check the access key ID here. And you can check the secret access key. If you want to send a mail, you can click on send email. Then click on close. Now we will check the user which we created. So here you can see that the user is created successfully. Click on user. Here you can see that the policy is Amazon S3 full access. If you want to add the permission, you can click on add permission. You can check here. It is not belong to any group. Now how to add the user to the group? So click on add user to the group. And here we have created one admin group, sample session. Click on that and click on add to group. So here you can see that sample session user is added to the sample session group. So here you can see that security credential for the user. So here you can see that access key ID. Here you can see that console login link. So by this link, the user can able to see the AWS Management Console. So this is the practical demonstration of creating an admin group, creating a user, attaching a policy to the user, and adding the user to the admin group which we created. Now let's talk about how users sign in to your account. After you create IAM users and password for each, users can sign in to the AWS Management Console for your AWS account using your account ID or from a special URL that includes your account ID. By default, the sign-in URL for your account includes your account ID. You can create a unique sign-in URL for your account so that the URL include a name instead of an account ID. The sign-in endpoint follows this pattern. Here you can see that https://AWS account ID, that is your account number, or you can create alias dot signin dot aws dot amazon.com/console. So let's go to the console. So here you can see that the AWS services are divided into different categories. So in the security section you can see that IAM. So click on IAM. So click on user and search for sample user. So you can see here this is the user. So right now the username is bhushan.chordia@brilio.com. Now we will sign in using sample session user. So click on security credentials and here you can see that console link. So copy this link and paste in Notepad. At the time of creation of sample session user, we have downloaded the CSV file which contains the credentials. So let's go to the download folder and open the credentials.csv file. So here you can see that username. So at the time of creation of user, I had given the password as session123 and here you can check the access key and here you can check the secret access key, and this is the console login link. So you can copy this link and open the Google Chrome in incognito mode and paste that link. So here you can see that this is the sign-in page for US East 1 region. So go to the credential file, copy the username and paste it here. Copy the password and paste it here and click on sign in. Maybe the S is small. So this security is very important in AWS. Click on sign in. So first time you have to change the password. So you have to give the old password and then you have to give the new password. And click on confirm password change. Now here you can see that the AWS services. So this is the AWS management console, and here you can see that sample session user. So by this user I am able to log in to the AWS management console. So this is a practical demonstration of how to sign in using IAM user. Thank you. Now let's talk about create and attach your first customer manage policy. In this tutorial, we will use the AWS Management Console to create a customer manage policy and then attach that policy to an IAM user in your AWS account. The policy you create allows an IAM test user to sign in directly to the AWS Management Console with read-only permissions. So this workflow has 3 basic steps. So step number 1 is create the policy. By default, IAM user do not have permission to do anything. They cannot access the AWS Management Console or manage the data within unless you allow it. In this step, you create a customer manage policy that allows any attached user to sign in to the console. Step number 2 is attach the policy. When you attach the policy to a user, the user inherits all of the access permissions that are associated with that policy. In this step, you attach the new user policy to a test user account. And step number 3 is test user access. Once the policy is attached, you can sign in as the user and test the policy. So now let's see all the steps practically on AWS Management Console. So let's go to the AWS Management Console. Here you can see that AWS services are divided into different categories. So in the security section you can see that IAM. So open the IAM console. So this is the IAM console, identity and access management. Now before creating a policy, we will create a user. So click on user. So here you can see that the list of users are already created in this account. Now let's see how to create a user. So click on add user, and here you have to give the user details. I am giving the username as policy user. If you want to add another user, you can click on add another user. For now I am creating only one user. Now select AWS access type. Select how these users will access the AWS, either programmatic access or AWS Management Console access. Programmatic access, which enables an access key ID and secret access key for AWS API, CLI, SDK and other development tools. And AWS Management Console access enables a password that allows user to sign in to the AWS Management Console. So here I am selecting both the access type, and here you can give the console password, either auto-generated password or custom password. So I am selecting the custom password, and I am giving the password as policy user. So remember this password. You will use this password at the time of sign in to the AWS Management Console. After that, click on next permission. Now set permission for a policy user, that is the username. So either you can add the user to the group, or you can copy the permission from existing user, or you can attach the existing policy directly, or else you can create without any policy. So I am creating without policy. I will attach the policy later. So click on next review, And last is review. So review your details of the user. After you create the user, you can view and download the auto-generated password and access key. So here you can check the user details like username, access type. After reviewing the details, click on Create User. Here you can see that the user is created successfully. You can download the .csv file which includes the credentials. So click on Download, and here you can see that the credential file is downloaded. You can check the username, you can check the access key ID, and you can check the secret access key here. If you want to send this information to the mail, you can click on Send Email. After that, click on Close. Now here you can find the user which we created. So here you can see that this is the username which we created. Now we will create a policy and then we will attach the policy to the user. So click on Policies. So here you can see that the list of policy are already created in this account. Now let's see how to create a policy. So click on Create Policy. Now step number 1 is Create Policy. A policy is a document that formally states one or more permission. So create a policy by copying an AWS Manage policy using policy generator or typing your own custom policy. So I am selecting Create Your Own Policy. Now here you have to give the policy name. So let me check the name. Copy the name. So you can give any one of the name and you can give the description. Now let's go to the notepad, copy the policy statement, go to console and paste the policy here. So here you can see that this is the version number which is by default, and here you can see the statement. So we have one statement. So here you can see that the effect is allow and actions are some actions of the IAM service. Here you can see that 3 actions. And here you can see that resource. Now click on Create Policy. So here you can find the policy which we created. Let me go to the notepad, copy the name and paste it here. So here you can see that the policy is created successfully. If you want to edit the policy, you can click on Edit Policy. Now we will attach this policy to the user. So select the policy, go to Policy Action and click on Attach. So here you can see that Attach Entities. So click on Attach. You can give the username which we created before. So I have created the policy user. So select the username and click on Attach Policy. Now here you can see that one entity was attached to the user read-only access to IAM console policy. Now go to the user, type the username, select the username, and here you can see that the policy which we created, it is attached to the user. Here you can see that. Now we will log in using this user. Now let's go to the download folder where we have a credential file. So this is the credential file of the policy user. open that CSV file. Here you can see that username and password is blank. So here you can see that console login link. So copy this link and open the Google in new incognito mode and paste the link here. Now here you can see that you have to give the IAM username. So let's go to the CSV file, copy the username and paste it here. And here you have to give the password which you had given at the time of creation of user. So the password is same, policy user. Now click on sign in. So first time you have to change your password to continue. So you can give the old password and you have to give the new password. So I am appending with 1, 2, 3. Same password, but I am appending with 1, 2, 3 and click on confirm password change. Now here we will access the services. So in this policy you can check that we have only 3 actions. That is IAM list star, IAM get star and IAM generate credential report. So if you try to access the EC2, S3 or any of the service, you cannot see the service. So let's try to open the S3. So you will get error like this, access denied. So because your policy does not include the actions. Now let's see the IAM. Open the IAM. Now click on user. So here you can see that we have a permission of list star. Star means whatever comes starting with list. For example, list user. For example, list user, list policy. So I am able to list the user. So you can check any one of the user by clicking on user and you can get the details. For example, which permissions, which policy is attached to the user. So this is a practical demonstration of creating a user, creating a policy and attach the policy to the user and sign in to the AWS Management Console using that username. Here you can check that and check the permission which is attached to that user. Thank you. Now let's talk about IAM best practices part 1. To help secure your AWS resources, follow below recommendation for the AWS Identity and Access Management Service. So here the topics are: lock away your AWS account root user access keys, create individual IAM users, use AWS define policy to assign permission whenever possible, use groups to assign permission to IAM users, grant list privilege, use access levels to review IAM permissions, configure a strong password policy for your users. Now let's talk all the topics one by one. First is lock away your AWS account root user access keys. You use access key to make programmatic requests to AWS. However, do not use your AWS account root user access key. The access key for your AWS account gives full access to all your resources for all the AWS services, including your billing information. You cannot restrict the permissions associated with your AWS account access key. Now second is create individual IAM users. So don't use your AWS account root user credentials to access AWS, and don't give your credentials to anyone else. Instead, create individual users for anyone who needs access to your AWS account. Create an IAM user for yourself as well. Give that user administrative privilege and use that IAM user for all your work. By creating individual IAM users for people accessing your account, you can give each IAM user a unique set of security credentials. You can also grant different permissions to each IAM user. If necessary, you can change or revoke an IAM user permissions anytime. Now third best practice of IAM is use AWS defined policies to assign permission whenever possible. AWS recommends that you use the manage policy that are created and maintained by AWS to grant permission whenever possible. A key advantage of using this policy is that they are maintained and updated by AWS as new service or new APIs are introduced. AWS manage policy for job function can span multiple services and align with common job function in IT industry. Fourth best practice of IAM is use groups to assign permission to IAM users. Instead of defining permission for individual IAM user, it's usually more convenient to create groups that relate to job function. For example, administrator group, developer group, accounting group. Next, define the relevant permission for each group. Finally, assign IAM users to those groups. All the users in that IAM group inherit the permission assigned to that group. That way, you can make the changes for everyone in a group in just one place. As people move around in your company, you can simply change what IAM group their IAM user belongs to. Fifth best practice of IAM is grant list privilege. When you create IAM policy, follow the standard security advice of granting list privilege. That is, granting only the permissions required to perform a task. Determine what users need to do and then craft policies for them that let the user performs only those tasks. Sixth is use access level to review IAM permissions. To improve the security of your AWS account, you should regularly review and monitor each of your IAM policies. Make sure that your policy grants the least privilege that is needed to perform only the necessary action. Seventh is configure a strong password policy for your users. If you allow users to change their own password, require that they create strong password and that they rotate their password periodically. On the account setting page of IAM console, you can create a password policy for your account. You can use the password policy to define password requirements such as minimum length, whether it requires non-alphabetic characters, how frequently it must be rotated, and so on. So we will talk more best practices in part 2. Now let's talk about IAM best practices part 2. So here the topics are enable MFA for privileged users, use roles for applications that run on Amazon EC2 instances, delegate by using roles instead of sharing credentials, rotate credentials regularly, remove unnecessary credentials, and last is use policy conditions for extra security. So let's talk one by one. First is enable MFA for privileged users. For extra security, enable multi-factor authentication for privileged IAM users. With MFA, users have a device that generates a unique authentication code, a one-time password or OTP. Users must provide both their normal credentials like their username and password and the OTP. The MFA device can either be a special hardware or it can be a virtual device. For example, it can run in the app on smartphone. Now second is use roles for application that run on Amazon EC2 instances. Application that run on Amazon EC2 instance need credentials in order to access the other AWS services. To provide credentials to the application in a secure way, use IAM roles. A role is an entity that has its own set of permissions, but that is not a user or group. Roles also don't have their own permanent set of credentials the way IAM users do. In the case of Amazon EC2, IAM dynamically provides temporary credentials to the EC2 instance, and these credentials are automatically rotated for you. Third is delegate by using roles instead of by sharing credentials. You might need to allow users from another AWS account to access resources in your AWS account. If so, don't share security credentials such as access keys between accounts. Instead, use IAM roles. You can define a role that specifies what permissions the IAM users in the other account are allowed. You can also designate which AWS account have the IAM users that are allowed to assume the role. Fourth is rotate credentials regularly. Change your own password and access keys regularly and make sure that all IAM users in your account do as well. That way, if the password or access key is compromised without your knowledge, you limit how long the credentials can be used to access your resources. You can apply a password policy to your account to require all your IAM users to rotate their password, and you can choose how often they must do. Fifth is remove unnecessary credentials. Remove IAM user credentials that are not needed. For example, an IAM user that is used for an application does not need a password. Similarly, if a user does not and will never use the access keys, there is no reason for the user to have them. Passwords and access keys that have not been used recently might be good candidates for removal. You can find unused password or access key using the console, using API, or by downloading the credentials report. Sixth is use policy condition for extra security. To the extent that is practical, define the condition under which your IAM policies allow access to a resource. For example, you can write condition to specify a range of allowable IP addresses that a request must come from. You can also specify that a request is allowed only within a specified date range or time range. You can also set conditions that require the use of SSL or MFA. For example, you can require that a user has authenticated with an MFA device in order to be allowed to terminate an Amazon EC2 instance. So these all are the best practices of IAM, that is Identity and Access Management. Now let's talk about identities, users, groups and roles. This session describes IAM identities which you create to provide authentication for people and processes in your AWS account. This session also describes IAM groups, which are collection of IAM users that you can manage as a unit. Identities represent the user and can be authenticated and then authorized to perform actions in AWS. Each of these can be associated with one or more policies to determine what action a user, role, or member of a group can do with which AWS resource and under what conditions. Now let's talk about IAM users. An IAM user is an entity that you can create in AWS. The IAM user represents the person or service who uses the IAM user to interact with AWS. A primary use for IAM user is to give people the ability to sign in to the AWS Management Console for interactive tasks and to make programmatic requests to AWS service using API or CLI. A user in AWS consists of a name, a password to sign in into the AWS Management Console, and up to 2 access keys that can be used with the API or CLI. When you create an IAM user, you grant it permissions by making it a member of a group that has appropriate permission policy attached, or by directly attaching policy to the user. You can also clone the permission of an existing IAM user, which automatically makes the new user a member of the same group or attaches all the same policies. Now let's talk about IAM groups. An IAM group is a collection of IAM users. You can use groups to specify permissions for a collection of users, which can make those permissions easier to manage for those users. For example, you could have a group called admins and give that group the types of the permission that administrators typically need. Any user in that group automatically has the permissions that are assigned to the group. If a new user joins your organization and should have administrator privilege, you can assign the appropriate permissions by adding the user to that group. Similarly, if a person changes jobs in your organization, instead of editing that user's permission, you can remove him or her from the old group and add him or her to the appropriate new groups. Note that a group is not truly an identity because it cannot be identified as a principal in an access policy. It is only a way to attach policies to the multiple users at one time. Now let's talk about IAM roles. An IAM role is very similar to a user in that it is an identity with permission policies that determine what the identity can and cannot do in AWS. However, a role does not have any credentials associated with it. Instead of being uniquely associated with one person, a role is intended to be assumable by anyone who needs it. Any IAM user can assume a role to temporarily take on different permissions for a specific task. A role can be assigned to a federated user who signs in by using an external identity provider instead of IAM. AWS uses details passed by the identity provider to determine which role is mapped to the federated user. Now let's talk about temporary credentials. Temporary credentials are primarily used with IAM roles, but there are also other uses. You can request temporary credentials that have a more restricted set of permissions than your standard IAM user. This prevents you from accidentally performing tasks that are not permitted by more restricted credentials. A benefit of temporary credential is that they expire automatically after a set period of time. You have control over the duration that the credentials are valid. Now let's talk about the AWS account root user. When you first create an AWS account, you create an account that is root user identity, which you use to sign in to the AWS. You can sign in to the AWS Management Console as the root user, that is the mail address and the password that you provide when you create the account. This combination of your mail address and password is also called as root user credentials. So these all are the identities of IAM. Now let's talk about creating an IAM user in your AWS account. You can create one or more IAM users in your AWS account. You might create an IAM user when someone joins your organization or when you have a new application that needs to make API calls to AWS. So here the topics are creating IAM users by using Management Console and creating IAM user by using CLI tools for Windows PowerShell or IAM HTTP APIs. So we'll see the demonstration of creating IAM user using Management Console and using CLI. Let's go to the AWS Management Console. So here you can see that the AWS services are divided into different categories. So in the security section, you can see that IAM service. So open the IAM service. So here you can see that the number of users are already created in this account. You can see the groups, you can see the roles, you can see the customer manage policy. Now let's see how to create a user. So click on user. So here you can see the list of users are already created in this account. For creating a user, you have to click on add user and you have to give the user details. So you can add multiple users at once with same access type and permission. So for now I am giving only one user. So for now I am giving the username as sample IAM user. If you want to add another user, you can click on add another user. Now you have to select the AWS access type. Select how this user will access the AWS. So here you can see that the access types are either programmatical access or AWS Management Console access. Programmatical access enables an access key ID and secret access key for AWS API, CLI, SDK and other development tools. And AWS Management Console access enables a password that allows user to sign into the AWS Management Console. So here I am selecting both the access type and you have to give the console password, either auto-generated password or custom password. So for now I am selecting custom password. I am giving the password as sample IAM user. After giving all the user details and access type, click on next permissions. Now you have to set the permission for sample IAM user which we created. So you can add that user to the group, or you can copy the permission from existing user, or you can attach existing policy directly. So I am selecting the attach existing policy directly. So here I can attach the policy by selecting the policy, or you can create a new policy if you want. After selecting policy or creating policy, click on next review. And last is review. So review your details. After you create the user, you can view and download the auto-generated password and access key. So click on create user. So here you can see that the IAM user is created successfully and you can view and download the user credential from this .csv file. So click on .csv file. So here you can see that credentials.csv file is downloaded. And here you can see the access key ID and secret access key. If you want to send the information of access key ID and secret access key, you can click on send email. After that, click on close. So here we will check the user which is created or not. So here you can see that sample IAM user is created successfully. Now we will see how to create IAM user using CLI. So open this link docs.aws.amazon.com/CLI/latest/reference. So here you can find IAM service. Click on IAM and here you can find create user command. So click on create user CLI command. So by this command you can create a new IAM user for your AWS account. So here you can check some sample example. So here is the example. So copy this example and paste in Notepad. Now here you have to give the username. So for now I am giving sample IAM user using CLI. For running this CLI command, you have to install the AWS CLI. So I already have a CLI which is installed in my local system. So go to the C drive, click on program files, and type cmd and click enter. So here you can see that CLI. Now copy this command and paste it here and press enter. So here you can see that the username sample IAM user using CLI is created successfully, and here you can see that the user ID. Now we will check the user on AWS Management Console. So go to the Management Console, go to the IAM service and paste the username which we created using CLI and refresh. So here you can see that sample IAM user using CLI, it is created. So we did not attach the permission at the time of creating user. So this is a practical demonstration of creating user using Management Console and AWS CLI. Thank you. Now let's talk about managing IAM users. Amazon Web Services offer multiple tools for managing the IAM users in your AWS account. So here the topics of demonstrations are listing IAM user, renaming an IAM user, and deleting an IAM user. So let's see all the topics practically. So go to the AWS Management Console. So here you can see that the AWS services are divided into different categories. So in the security section you can see that IAM. So click on IAM, open the IAM, and after that click on users. Here you can see that the list of users are already created in this account. For the demonstration purpose of renaming the username and deleting the username, I already have a sample session user. So you can check the attach policy here. So for the sample session user, we have Amazon S3 full access and we also have administrator access. So you can check the group for which group it belongs to. So this user belongs to sample session group. And here you can check the security credentials. You can check the access key ID and you can check the status of the access key ID. Now we will rename this sample session user. For renaming the username, you must use AWS CLI. You cannot rename using Management Console. So let's go to the link docs.aws.amazon.com/CLI/latest/reference. Control F. Here you can find IAM service. So click on IAM. Control F. Here you can find the update command for user. So click that. Again Control F. Here you can find the update user command which changes the name of IAM user. So copy this example and paste in Notepad. So let's go to the IAM console. Copy the IAM username and paste it here. So this is the IAM username and this is the new username. So here you can give some new username. Now we will run this command on AWS CLI. So copy this command. So go to the CLI and type cmd. And paste the command here and press enter. So here you can see that the update user CLI command of IAM executed successfully. Now let's go to the AWS Management Console. Click on user, as our old name is sample session user. Now refresh. So here you can see that sample session user, which is the old name. Now the new name is sample session new user. Now how to delete the IAM user? So select the IAM user and click on delete. After that, click on yes, delete. So this is the practical demonstration of listing the user details, renaming the username and deleting the user. Thank you. Now let's talk about creating IAM groups. To set up a group, you need to create the group, give it permission based on the type of work that you expect the users in the group to do, and then add users to the group. So here the topics are creating IAM group using AWS Management Console and creating IAM group using AWS CLI, tools for Windows PowerShell or IAM HTTP API. So we will see how to create an IAM group using console and AWS CLI. So let's go to the AWS Management Console. Here you can see that the number of services. So in the security section, you can see the IAM. Open the IAM console. So click on groups. So here you can see that the list of group are already created in this account. Now let's see how to create a new group. So click on create new group and give the group name. For now I am giving sample session group. After giving the name, click on next step. Now step 2 is attach policy. So you can select one or more policies to attach. So here you can see that the list of policies, and each group can have up to 10 policy attached. So I am selecting the administrator access and click on next step. And step 3 is review. So you can review the group details. After reviewing the details, click on create group. So you can filter the group by giving the group name. So here you can see that sample session group is created successfully. So click on that group, and here you can see that the policy which we have attached at the time of creation of group. Now let's see how to create a group using AWS CLI. So open the CLI link docs.aws.amazon.com/CLI/latest/reference and press Ctrl F and type IAM. Here you can see that IAM. So click on IAM. Again press Ctrl F and type create -group. So here you can see that create group CLI command. Click on that. Again press example. So here you can find the example of creating IAM group. So copy this command and paste on Notepad. So here you have to give the group name. So we will give sample session user group. For executing the CLI command, you have to go to the CLI where you have installed. So go to the path local disk C program files Amazon AWS CLI and type cmd. So this is the CLI command prompt. Copy the CLI command and paste on CLI command prompt and press enter. So here you can see that the group name sample session user group is created successfully, and here you can see that group ID. Now copy this group name and go to the AWS Management Console and paste it here in filter section. So here you can see that sample session user group is created successfully. This is the practical demonstration of creating a groups using AWS Management Console and AWS CLI. Now let's talk about managing IAM groups. Amazon Web Services offer multiple tools for managing IAM groups. Here the topics are listing IAM groups, adding and removing users in an IAM group, attaching a policy to an IAM group, renaming an IAM group, deleting an IAM group. So let's see all the topics practically. So go to the AWS Management Console. So here you can see that AWS services are divided into different categories. So in the security section you can see that IAM. So open the IAM console and click on groups. So for the demonstration purpose, I already created one sample group. So here you can see that a number of users are 0. So let's click the group, and for this sample session group we have administrator access. So now let's see how to attach the policy to the group. So click on attach policy. So here you can select the policy, select one or more policy to attach. So you can select the policy and you can click on attach policy. So like that you can attach the policy by clicking on attach policy option. And here you can see the list of users. So for this group, sample session group, we have 0 users. Now how to add the users to this group? So click on add users to group. So here you can see the list of users and you can select any one of the user. So I am selecting code build test user and click on add user. Now here you can see that the code build test user is added successfully to this group. Now let's see how to rename the IAM group. So you can rename the IAM group using AWS CLI. So go to this link docs.aws.amazon.com/CLI/latest/reference. Press Ctrl F and search for IAM. Click on IAM. Again press Ctrl F, type update -group. So here you can see that update group. So click on that. Again search for example. So here you can see the example of the CLI command to rename the IAM group. Copy this and paste in Notepad. So here you have to give the group name. So let's go to the AWS Management Console and copy the group name and paste in Notepad. And here you have to give the new group name. So I'm giving the new group name as sample session new group. Now you have to run this command on CLI. So go to the folder where you have installed CLI and type cmd. So here you can see that this is the CLI command prompt. So copy the CLI command and paste on CLI prompt and press enter. So here you can see that update group CLI command is executed successfully. Now let's go to the console, click groups and refresh and search for sample. So here you can see that the sample session group which changes to sample session new group. Now let's see how to delete the group. So select the group, go to group action and click on delete. Yes, delete. So here you can see that the sample session group is deleted successfully. So this is a practical demonstration of attaching the policy to the group, attaching the user to the group, updating or renaming the name of the group, and deleting the IAM group. Now let's talk about IAM roles. An IAM role is similar to a user in that it is an AWS identity with permission policies that determine what the identity can and cannot do in AWS. However, instead of being uniquely associated with the one person, a role is intended to be assumable by anyone who needs it. Also, a role does not have any credential like password or access keys associated with it. Instead, if a user is assigned to a role, access keys are created dynamically and provided to the user. You can use roles to delegate access to users, applications, or services that don't normally have access to your AWS resources. For example, you might want to grant users in your AWS account access to resources they don't usually have, or grant users in one AWS account access to resource in another account. Or you might want to allow a mobile app to use AWS resources but not want to embed AWS keys within the app. Sometimes you want to give AWS access to users who already have identities defined outside of AWS, such as in your corporate directory. Or you might want to grant access to your account to third parties so that they can perform an audit on your resources. So this is the basic description of IAM role. Now let's talk about roles, terms and concept. Now let's talk about role. A set of permissions that grant access to action and resources in AWS. These permissions are attached to a role, not to an IAM user or group. Roles can be used by following. First is an IAM user in the same AWS account as the role. Second is an IAM user in different AWS account as the role. Third is a web service offered by AWS such as Elastic Compute Cloud. And last is An external user authenticated by an external identity provider service that is compatible with XAML 2.0 or OpenID Connect or a custom built identity broker. Now let's talk about AWS service role. A role that a service assumes to perform actions on your behalf. When you set up most AWS service environments, you must define a role for the service to assume. This service role must include all the permission required for the service to access the AWS resources that it needs. Service roles vary from service to service, but many allow you to choose your permissions as long as you meet the documented requirements for that service. You can create, modify, and delete a service role from within IAM. So we'll talk more in detail at the time of practical demonstration of creating a role and service role. Now let's talk about AWS service role for an EC2 instance. A special type of service role that a service assumes to launch an EC2 instance that runs your application. This role is assigned to the EC2 instance when it is launched. AWS automatically provides the temporary security credentials that are attached to the role and then makes them available for the EC2 instance to use on behalf of its application. Now let's talk about AWS service linked role. A unique type of service role that is linked directly to the AWS service. Service linked roles are predefined by the service and include all the permissions that the service requires to call other AWS service on your behalf. The linked service also defines how to create, modify, and delete a service linked role. A service might automatically create or delete the role. It might allow you to create, modify, or delete the role as part of a wizard or process in the service. Or it might require that you use IAM to create or delete the role. Regardless of the method, service link role makes setting up a service easier because you don't have to manually add the necessary permissions. Now let's talk about delegation. The granting of permission to someone to allow access to resources that you control. Delegation involves setting up a trust between the account that owns the service, that is trusting account, and the account that contains the user that needs to access the resource, that is the trusted account. The trusted and trusting accounts can be any one of the following, like the same account or two accounts that both under one organization or two accounts owned by a different organization. Now let's talk about principal. An entity in AWS that performs action and access resources. A principal can be an AWS account root user, an IAM user, or a role. You can grant permission to access the resource in one of the two ways. First is you can attach a permission policy to a user directly or indirectly through the group or to a role. And second is for those services that support resource-based policy, you can identify the principal in the principal element of a policy attached to the resource. So we will talk all the terms and concepts of a role in detail at the time of practical demonstration in next session. Now let's talk about create an IAM role for AWS EC2. So let's see these practically on AWS Management Console. So let's go to the AWS Management Console. So here you can see that AWS services are divided into different categories. So in the security section you can see that IAM. So open the IAM console. So here you can see that this is the management console for identity and access management. So here you can see that number of users, number of groups, customer managed policies, number of roles which are created in this account. So basically IAM service is global. So here you can see that IAM does not require region selection. Now let's see how to create a role. So for creating IAM role, you have to click on roles. So here you can see that the list of the roles which are created in this account. Here you can see that. Now let's see how to create a role for Amazon EC2 service. For creating role, you have to click on create role. Now here you have to select the role type. So here you can see that AWS service. So you can choose the service that will use this role. So basically this number of services. So for example, if you want to create a role for EC2, so here you can select the EC2 service. So here it shows allows EC2 instance to call AWS services on your behalf. So we will select the EC2 service. So like that there are different role type. For example, if you want to create the role for another AWS account, you can select this and you have to give the account ID. So like that you can create a role by using Web Identity and XAML. For the demonstration purpose, we will select the AWS service and EC2 service. So here you can select the EC2 service and click on Next, Permissions. Now we will select the permission. So you can choose one or more policies to attach to the new role. Each role can have a default maximum of 10 attached policy. So either you can give the policy from here, like you are selecting the checkbox, or you can create a policy by clicking on create policy. So whatever action and permission mentioned in that policy, the AWS service EC2 will assume that role and will call that service on your behalf. So I am selecting right now Amazon S3 read-only access. Now Amazon EC2 will assume this policy and click on Next, Review. And last is you have to give the role name and other details. So for now I am giving the role name as sample session EC2 role. And here you have to give the role description. And here you can see that the trusted entities is ec2.amazonaws.com because we selected the EC2 service. And here you can see that the policy which is attached to the role, and click on create role. Now here you can search the role which we created for EC2. You can see here sample session role. Click on that. And here you can see that the attached policy. So this policy we attach at the time of creation of role. And here you can see that trust relationship. So the identity provider is ec2.amazonaws.com. And here you can check the Access Advisor. Access Advisor shows the service permission granted to this role and when those services were last accessed. So here you can see that. And here you can see that revoke session. So if you choose the revoke active sessions, IAM attaches an inline policy named AWS revoke older session to this role. And this policy immediately denies access to all currently active session for this role. You can continue to create new session based on this role. Here you can see that revoke active session. So this is the example of AWS revoke older session policy. So basically what it means is this policy, the effect is deny and action is star and resource is star. So basically for the EC2 service, it cannot able to access any one of the service because we are denying the effect. Suppose we have attached the policy of S3 full access to the EC2 and EC2 is deleting the important files in the S3 recursively. So we can create this revoke active session. So it will stop deleting the files from the S3 using EC2 service. And here you can see that role ARN of the service. And here you can see that instance profile ARN. So this is the practical demonstration of creating IAM role for EC2 service. Thank you. Now let's talk about overview of AWS IAM permission. Permission let you specify who has access to AWS resources and what action they can perform on those resources. Every IAM user starts with no permissions. In other words, by default, users cannot do anything, not even view their own access keys. To give a user permission to do something, you can add the permission to the user or add the user to a group that has a desired permission. For example, you might grant a user permission to list his or her own access keys. You might also expand that permission and also let each user create, update and delete their own keys. When you give permission to a group, all the users in that group get those permissions. For example, you can give the admin group permission to perform any of the IAM action on any of the AWS account resources. And another example is, you can give the managers group permission to describe the AWS accounts Amazon EC2 instances. So this is the basic overview of AWS IAM permission. Now let's talk about overview of IAM policies. This section provides an overview of IAM policies. A policy is a document that formally defines permissions. To assign permission to a user, group, role, or resource, you create a policy, which is a document that defines permissions. The policy document includes the following elements like effect. Effect whether the policy allows or denies the access. Action, the list of actions that are allowed or denied by the policy. Resource, the list of resources on which the action can occur. And last is condition, that is optional, the circumstances under which the policy grants permission. Policies are the documents that are created using JSON. A policy consists of one or more statements, each of which describes one set of permissions. So here you can see that the JSON document. So this is the version number which is by default. And here is the statement. So you can create a number of statements. So like that, one statement which has effect, action and resource. And if you want to put conditions, so that is optional, you can put the condition also. So for this statement we have effect, that is allow, action as a S3 colon list bucket, and resource is the S3 ARN. So this action applies to this bucket. So this policy will attach to the role, and whoever assume that role, that can perform the list bucket on this example bucket. So you can attach this policy to an IAM user or a group. If that's the only policy for the user or group, the user or group is allowed to perform only this one action, that is list bucket, on Amazon S3 bucket, that is example bucket. Now here you can see that one more example which shows a policy that might be attached to an Amazon S3 bucket that grants permission to a specific AWS account to perform any Amazon S3 action in my bucket. So here you can see that the my bucket is the name of the S3 bucket. So here you can see that this is a statement which is in array. So you can include one or more statement in one statement array block. So here you can see that SID is 1 and effect is allow, and here you have to give the principal. So in principal we have the ARN of the root account. So this user who created the account, that is root account, so the user here you can see that root user, so he can perform S3 colon star. So star means any action of S3 bucket he can perform on my bucket. So this is the overview of IAM policies. Now let's talk about creating a new policy. You have several ways to create a new IAM permission policy. You can copy a complete AWS managed policy that already does some what you are looking for and then customize it to your specific requirements. Alternatively, you can construct the policy by selecting actions and conditions from list in the policy generator to build the statements into a policy for you. Or you can create a policy from scratch by writing the JSON code. A policy consists of one or more statements. Each statement generally contains all the actions that share the same effect, whether it is allow or deny, and same resources. If one action requires star for the resource and another action specifies the ARN of a specific resource, then they must be in two separate statements. Now let's see how to create an IAM policy on AWS Management Console. So go to the AWS Management Console. So here you can see that AWS services are divided into different categories. So in the security section you can see that IAM. So click the IAM service. Now let's see how to create a policy. So click on policies. So here you can see that the list of policy are already created for this account. So this is AWS Managed Policy. And here you can see that this is Custom Manage. So like that we can create one policy. Now let's see how to create a policy. So for creating policy, click on Create Policy. Now step number 1 is Create Policy. A policy is a document that formally states one or more permission. Create a policy by copying an AWS managed policy using the policy generator or type your own custom policy. So we will select Create Your Own Policy. So click on Select. Now step number 3 is Review Policy. So first you have to give the policy name. So right now I am giving sample session policy. And here you have to give the description. So this policy document which is nothing but JSON document. So for the demonstration purpose, I already have a JSON document. So copy this JSON document. So here you can see that the effect for this policy document is allow, and action is S3 list bucket, and resource is the ARN of the S3 bucket. So we will check which bucket is present in the AWS account. So let's go to the S3, open the S3. So for the demonstration purpose, I already have one bucket, sample session bucket. So I can copy the name of that bucket and paste it here. After creating the policy document, you can click on Validate Policy. So here you can see that the policy is valid. Now you can create the policy. So click on Create Policy. Here you can see that the sample session policy which is created successfully. So here you can find that sample policy. So click that policy. So here you can see that the policy which is created successfully. So this is the practical demonstration of creating a policy on IAM console. Now let's talk about AWS IAM limits. So for IAM limits, you can go to the link. So go to this link docs.aws.amazon.com/general/latest/IAM gr/aws_service_limits.html. So here you can find that IAM service. So click on AWS Identity and Access Management Limits. So here you can find the AWS IAM Access Management Limits like customer managed policy. So you can create 1500 customer managed policy in AWS account. So this is the default limit. So you can create 300 groups in AWS account. You can create 1000 roles in AWS account. You can create 5000 users in your AWS account and virtual MFA device in AWS account, which is equal to the user quota for the account. So you can create 5000 virtual MFA device. You can create 1000 instance profiles in AWS account. Server certificate stored in AWS account. So this is 20. So this is default limit. If you want to increase the limit, you have to fill the form of service limit increase.